Welcome, everybody. John Zager, johnzager.com. How's everybody doing? Good? Good. So, back from the gym, over, just got my cup of coffee, and already did a blog this morning, about 2 hours, 3 hours ago. Wanted to do a podcast about the same thing. Sun's coming up, so we're gonna probably end up making this kind of short because it's gonna shine over on this side, and that may screw the whole thing up. But overcoming stress, overcoming disease. In the medical field, actually, genetics is pretty much out. And they've now come to the conclusion that stress, which is something we think about, it's a thought process, causes us to upregulate disease genes into our body. And so the majority of people with cancers and cardiovascular disease and diabetes and, all that whatnot, it's not a genetic thing. It never has been. And if somebody in your family had it, it doesn't mean you're going to get it genetically. It can't happen that way. And people are beginning to realize that neuroscience kind of figured that whole thing out. And your thoughts create the stress that upregulates the genes for the disease and eventually could kill you if you don't know who you're going to or how they're treating you. The biggest culprit is cardiovascular disease. Cardiologists they're just stupid. They hurt more people than they help. And they give you medication that has huge side effects, and there's huge numbers of people that die from the side effects of the medication given by cardiologists. They require, in a lot of cases, they require that you get open heart surgery and have a triple bypass or quadruple bypass or some crazy thing. And then you're limited to how much time you have left on the planet. You basically have been given the voodoo curse. And neuroscience, has nothing to do with that. They see it all completely different, and there are so many different ways natural that you can lower your blood pressure permanently and have it not affect your health in terms of needing double, triple, quadruple bypass. That's nonsense. And Newtonian doctors, Western doctors, they're still trying to practice medicine from what's the word? Old ways that were taught in med school 50 years ago or longer. So, archaic, that was the word I was trying to think of, was archaic medicine. So anyway, what we're talking about today is we're going to do a little series on this, and we're going to talk about stress and the culprit that stress is to our bodies, both physically and mentally. There's a lot of people. Let's go back to I don't know how long I've been doing this. 56 years. So let's go back, I don't know, 30 years or whatever, when people had drug addictions, alcohol addictions, compulsive disorders, addiction, and stress was one of the things they talked about the patients way, way back then. And they just felt like life was too difficult to get through, and they needed things to soften the daily activities, and in turn they became addicted to something because the dopamine starts getting released, and once the dopamine starts coming, people go back to it over and over again, even to the fact of belonging to a gym. You get a lot of dopamine being kicked out just going to the gym every day. It's another compulsive disorder, just like buying or shopping, I guess. Food's another one. Sex is another one. There's a bunch of them. But those are things you do as a result of your thoughts. Those are the things that you bring on. They're not genetic. They weren't carried over from your family of origin, right? Are those crooked? Yeah, they look kind of crooked. Well, actually, my head's probably crooked. But how many of you suffer with stress to some degree? And again, maybe it's okay if you put a comment or two down below. It's all right. I mean, just say maybe what percentage of your life is stressful. Maybe you have a job that's just incredibly stressful. Maybe you're a first responder, a nurse, a doctor, some medical person that's required to be on scene immediately in tragic situations. Well, that produces stress. Maybe you're a teacher. Maybe you're a parent. Who knows? The sun's going to start coming up here real quick. But so I want you to think about stress in your life. And are you right now currently upregulating disease genes into your body as a result of the stress? The doctors talk like this. They say, if you can think yourself into a disease, being sick, ill health and that sort of thing, you can also think yourself out of a disease. And there's a lot of people that get healed through thought alone. So think about the stress level you have in your life and what it's doing to you. And do you in fact think you're upregulating disease genes right now as you're listening to this YouTube video? And how can you prevent that from happening, both in upregulating and downregulating the stuff out of your body? What I'm going to do is go back and do a podcast. I don't know, probably in the next hour or so, I'll go back and do a podcast and spend a little more time in detail talking about how you bring that stuff into your life from the environment and how you can get rid of it out of your body and heal permanently and not be diabetic, not be a person with cardiovascular disease, not have cancer. How can you change that behavior? So if you would, go ahead and do that. Write some comments. I love reading this stuff. And come back in about another hour or so, and I'll have a podcast waiting for you to look as well. But more importantly, I don't want to pass this up. By all means, go read the blog from this morning. It's kind of long, but it's really detailed, and it talks exactly about stress and disease and how the two kind of connect and how they get hooked up together and how you can prevent that and down-regulate it out of your body. So go ahead and give that a try. Okay, God bless everybody. Take care of one another, and I'll look forward to talking to y'all again real soon. Thanks a lot. See you. Bye.